So the question is, we are in Pinwheels Year 2, Level 3, and doing the spelling notebook. What is the best way to do the practice each week? Last week we went like this. Monday, we made a list of 5 words. Tuesday, they do the practice in their spelling notebook for each word. Friday is spelling test day. Should I be splitting up practicing the words in the notebook across 2 to 3 days? Or should we be practicing every word daily?
I definitely feel like there needs to be maybe one more practice session. But what I actually would want is that I can't tell how they're practicing, you know what I mean? Because we have a lot of different options of level of spelling practice. So, I would probably like them to maybe go in and use them in a sentence, that kind of work. And then, and I don't know what the test is like either, I will say, but, or even, I like to do a thing before a test, like here's your 5 words, and you're going to have them on the test. How do you think you're going to do? Do you think you know how to spell all these? Can you close your eyes? Can you picture them? Can you tell me how to spell them? Just picturing it in your head, let's try writing them with a sentence. Which one, I'll say, which one do you think is going to be most challenging for you? And they'll pick out the word. If they're like all 5, none of them are challenging, then maybe you just want to have that be a time you throw in a high frequency word that week. I don't know if they put a high frequency. Yeah, this is the thing. I have lots of things I don't know about how this went.
I'm assuming that they are applying this, like our spelling assessment cheat sheet, like those kinds of.
I'm assuming that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming it too. So I'll say to kids, okay, you're going to have, your quiz on this tomorrow. So what word do you think is going to challenge you? And then we talk about why that one is a challenge. What is a challenge about it? What is it you need to remember about it? Do we need to do more practice on this word? And then I may think, and sometimes kids are good reporters of their performance and sometimes they're not. I might say, really, I actually think also this other word is going to be a problem, and let's practice that one too. Or they might pick the word I thought was going to be a problem. Doing it in sentences tells you even more about how that word is. So, and the other thing is when you have that final day of practice, you could pull in review of some other practice. So let's look at this week's words and last week's words, even though they're on 2 different spelling patterns. Like there's actually a level, they talk about this, there's this block practice where you're just practicing that one skill. And then there's, this mixed practice where you're having to remember, another skill, other skills with that new skill. And you've got to do both. So, because what we don't want is to have spelling be no different than it used to be, where you have, 5 words, you practice them, you memorize them, you take the test, you pass the test, and you never remember how to spell those words again, kind of thing. We don't want that. So we want it to be more than that. So my guess is you need another day of practice and really think about having more metacognitive discussions. If you need this to be a short answer, more metacognitive discussions and more applied practice on that additional day.
That's good.
I always have to talk for 10 minutes to get to my short answer, don't I? That's terrible.
That's okay.
It's not my gift.
We love you. You teach us well.
Oh no, if you're not asleep by the time I get to the final answer.
Oh, you're funny. Okay, I think we're done.
All right.